Nobody wants their style to be cookie cutter and basic. So let's mix it up. Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in this video, we're talking all about how to mix interior design styles together so that your space is unique and curated and beautiful and anything but cookie cutter. We have got a number of topics to get through, so let's get into the video. The first thing we're talking about that is going to make it easier for you to mix styles together is that we need to stop asking ourselves if it goes. I don't want to know if it goes, if it matches, if it's the same style, or if it's this or that. I want to know, does it work? Does it suit the needs of this space? Will it add something to that space? I don't want to know about the style of it. I want to know about the functionality of it, about what purpose it will bring to that space. That is the most important element to remember when you are mixing styles, when you are curating and furnishing your home, because a matchy-matchy piece or something that goes or is the exact right thing, it's going to feel over-designed as opposed to curated, eclectic, and luxurious. The next thing that you need to remember when you are mixing interior design styles is that you want to address the pieces you already own. On this channel, I talk about environmentalism and sustainability through longevity all of the time. Not a shocker, not surprising, but in my opinion, I always want to keep the things I have, the things that are important to me, take those pieces you know you love and you have historically valued and incorporate them into your space. That is going to make that area, that room, that home feel timeless and feel classic. It's going to feel current for you because you are surrounded by things that you love, and then you can layer in some fresh or new pieces that will reinvigorate the life into those pieces you already have. By addressing the things you already own, you don't have to replace everything and you can value the things you already have and love. Now, the next way to mix interior design styles that won't leave them feeling out of place or like they just don't fit in with your home is to draw inspiration from the architecture of your home. You want to have at least one or two pieces in a space that pull back to that style. That will make the overall design feel like it fits within the space. I don't want you to overly commit to that one style. You don't want everything in your house to be Victorian because it's going to feel like it's Victorian. You want to have a mix of contemporary and modern and traditional pieces. A prime example of that is my home. Some of you will know I live in a colonial style home. So it's very traditional on the exterior in a lot of the architectural features, but I like to mix in more modern and contemporary style pieces. I recently remade over our gym space, and I had a number of pieces that were just kind of in there for the interim that I didn't know what to do with. One of them being this really beautiful contemporary style table. It's not necessarily what you expect to see in a colonial style home, but it works really well because I paired it with this antique chair that my husband actually knew the people that owned it, who were very famous celebrities, and it was a big deal, but not the point. This chair really works beautifully in the space because of the contrast between styles. I've also accessorized the space with more traditional pieces, so this contemporary style table doesn't feel as out of place because it's surrounded by a lot of the pieces that fit in with the architectural style of my home. That's a really great way to bring in some different, unique, fun pieces by layering them with pieces that already fit what you have. The next way you can mix different interior design styles is actually through color. I am a lover of color of every range, whether those are neutrals or bold and vibrant jewel tones. Color is a great way to mix different styles together because it can create really great connection without having to change or compromise or pick pieces that all match. A prime example is actually my studio, which you can check out the studio makeover, which will be linked in the description box down below. In the studio, I have this beautiful sofa I am sitting on, which is an off-white boucle fabric. It's a really beautiful piece, and I really love that it matches the wall color. It's beautiful. But across from this sofa, I have a really beautiful transitional style chair. This has a Greek key fabric that's both green and off-white. Where does that green tie in though? It ties in to my Empire style coffee table, which has a green marble top. So the green marble ties back to the chair, which ties back to the sofa. We're creating a lot of really great connection between these three pieces in this space. I have some other pieces like a green marble plinth style side table and some artwork that has green, it has blue, it has a number of colors in it. They all connect back to what is happening in the space. By mixing a solid and a pattern with a natural material like stone, you easily can mix different pieces together that are different styles from different eras all together to create a space that feels seamless. I have a very modern sofa here with a transitional style chair and a very traditional style coffee table. However, none of them feel dated, none of them feel ultra trendy. They all just feel like they connect, like they work, like they belong in this seating area together. Combining different styles using color, using an accessory or an accent like a pillow, a blanket, is a really great way to bring them all together. Something else you can do is match a wood tone to a frame or something else happening in your space. Using those colors together immediately creates connection and builds a space that feels like it's intentional but curated as opposed to something that feels very store-bought or overly designed. And before we get into our next topic, a quick word from today's video sponsor, Albert.
Oh, look who's here, the little baby. Oh, yes. Look at you. Are you having a nap? Are you sleeping here? Oh, yes. You're a little puppy who needs his little nap. Oh, you are yawning too. You must be very tired. No, you're not a baby. You're an honorary bulldog, aren't you? What? Are you still not happy with me because I gave you a bath? You smell good. You feel like a little duckling. What was that, Albert? Everyone should take a minute and hit the subscribe button so they don't miss another one of your cameos, and they should turn on the bell notification to get notified every time they upload. You are absolutely right. And what is that? While they're at it, they should also let us know that they subscribe so we can personally welcome them to the channel. What a good idea. What? Are you the star? Are you the star of the video? Oh, you just started getting your ears scratched? Oh, yes. Okay, mister, we'll let you go, and we're gonna get back to the video.
The next way to combine interior design styles is actually all about the shape. Referencing back to the shape of one piece from another will make two pieces that do not go together feel like they have that connection, like there's a relationship there. A prime example is once again in my studio. This sofa has a barrel style back. It also has round pillows. The coffee table is round. The chairs have round accents on them. These curves all tie back together and make all of these pieces feel like there is a relationship to one another. Mixing pieces that have a relationship in that way always makes them feel like they belong together. Even if it's just a little accent like some fluting or marquetry on a piece of furniture, maybe it's a similar toned stone. Those things always connect back to one another. Even if it's just two patterns that are completely different but they have that one similar element, those always work beautifully and they make two pieces or a multitude of different styles feel like there is a relationship and a connection. Look for those items or elements or ideas, like shape, like fine details, like little fixtures or handles, little knobs. Those types of things always connect to one another and they always make different elements feel like there's even the slightest of relationships to them. Don't overthink that and look for something that's matchy or things that look like a set, but mixing different styled pieces together can be very easy when you look for a relationship or some sort of nod to one another. The next way to mix different interior design styles together is actually through accessorizing. I love a good accessory, a piece of decor, a collection, an item to display. You know that about me and I love it. But you can actually use accessories to create connection or bring in some different ideas to your space. If you have a very modern space or a traditional space, you can accessorize in a different way. There are ways to accessorize in a modern style or a traditional style using all of the same pieces. You can do that to take the edge off of whatever you have. But if you are mixing different interior design styles, the accessory is your best friend. A great example would be to have an accent or throw pillow that ties in with a rug or another piece of furniture to bring one color to another side of the space. Another example would be in accessorizing. Here we have my coffee table. It has a green marble top on it. It has a green planter with white accents and green and white flowers. But it also has this blue book, which ties in with my rug, which ties in with an ottoman with the chairs on the other side of the room. Those accessories create connection to each side of the room, each space, and each piece of furniture within the room. But they don't feel matchy, they don't feel overly intentional, even though they definitely are. I want a space to have connection from one side to another, from one area to that next space. I want that flow to be there within a space because when your eye stops and it's like, whoa, what's happening here? You immediately have a disconnection from what's happening. We want a space to feel like it is meant to be that way. Another way of doing this is with smaller furniture pieces. Another example is I have a gilt chair behind my desk by my doors in the studio, and I love that piece. It's actually one of my dining chairs that the set's just too big to fit in my dining room. On the other side of the room, however, I have a small accent table that's the same gold tone. It's got a similar scale and size to it. That means it looks like it has a connection there. It has that relationship. When you walk in, when you turn around the corner, you still feel like you're looking at the same space. Something like that creates connection, even though these are two very different pieces of furniture. These are two completely different sides of the room. They're the same tone, the same color, and they're accessorized in a similar way that makes them feel like they are meant to be together. The next way to mix interior design styles is actually to focus on using the same scale. Scale is a word we use in interior design to describe the size or proportions of a piece. It's an incredibly useful element because we want things to feel like they belong together, and scale will get you there. If you have two different chairs, for example, you want them to have a similar scale, a similar proportion to one another. If one feels very bulky and heavy and the other feels very light and slender, well, they're not going to have that relationship. They're not going to feel like they belong in the space. They're going to feel like they are competing. But having two different chairs with a similar scale will then mean, oh, they feel like they belong. They don't feel like there's competition there. It serves as visual interest. Having the scale align itself within a space will always make any two pieces, any multitude of pieces, feel like there is connection. The same thing applies to my sofa here. It has very slender lines and it feels like it fits in the space without being overpowering. One of the reasons for this is, of course, the lighter color, but it's also because it doesn't have that super deep back. It doesn't have super wide arms. It feels slender, just like the chairs. This is a great way to create connection between different styled pieces. Have a look at this photo, and I know it is breathtaking because this is my coffee table. Once again, it's very open. You can see through it, and you can see the sofa there. They're not competing with one another because they are the same scale, and they also create a really great contrast with one another, so each of them stands out. Using the same scale will always make different pieces, different styles, and different elements feel like they belong together. The next way to combine interior design styles is actually to use the rule of threes. This rule applies in a number of ways, and what I specifically am talking about is color. I want you to use 3 colors in 3 different ways. My studio has off-white, blue, and green. Those are my 3 colors, and I'm using them in 3 different ways because my walls are in off-white, my sofa's in off-white, and then I accessorize with white flowers. Those create connection to one another, and it allows me to spread that color throughout the space. The green in my space is used with my marble tables. It's also featured in a lot of my artwork and on this accent chair. Blue, of course, is used just about everywhere. It's my favorite color, which is why I opted for a blue rug and blue office chairs and this blue ottoman, blue accessories and pillows. I love mixing these 3 colors together because it creates a space that's visually interesting, but it also gives me enough colors that I can mix them throughout the space and have everything feel like it's connected. So you see a little bit of each color no matter where you look. Using the rule of 3 can also be applied in other ways. You can use 3 accessories on a table together because it creates a really great balance and visual interest. Here in my studio, I actually have 2 ottomans and a coffee table, all 3 of which are a similar scale and they are layered together. So it creates a lot of visual interest while it doesn't feel bulky. The rule of 3s is something to always keep in mind because it will always make a space feel like it is curated, like it's designed, like it's aesthetically beautiful and exactly what you're after, while allowing you to mix different design styles together. While we're on the topic of using different elements and ideas like that rule of 3, I want to share with you some of my guidelines that I use in a space. And like I said, I always mix 3 colors together. Black and white, I don't typically count. I use them as I see fit within a space. I don't like to count them as those colors because they serve as a great neutral. As a matter of fact, white and black are not actually considered to be colors. They're considered to be the opposite. In every space, I always say to mix 2 metals, or 2 metals at the most. In the studio, I predominantly use gold. I have gold frames, I have gold hardware, gold accents and accessories. But in certain areas like the hardware on my desk and like my Erte statuette, I actually have bronze. This just creates a little bit of an edge. It's something a little bit different. The 2 metals are similar enough that they are not competing, but they're also different enough that it's obvious. Something like that will immediately elevate a space. Something else worth considering is the number of wood tones you use. For me, I always stick to 2. I really like mahogany and I like a light tone. So I have mahogany furniture that's rich and dark, that's inlaid and detailed. It's beautiful, but I contrast that with the flooring in my space, which is a white oak hand-scraped vibe, and I absolutely love it. It means that the space is bright and vibrant, but I still have my rich, dark toned furniture that I really enjoy. Mixing 2 wood tones together will always elevate a space. You do, however, want to make sure that they have a similar base tone so they don't clash. I have always found that sticking to those rules and principles allows me to create a space that is beautiful and sumptuous, relaxing, and enjoyable. It creates a space that is personal and unique, but it doesn't feel jarring or out of place in your home. I think that's always something worth considering, how you feel in your space and what it says about you and your home, the memories it shares and it has, because ultimately being happy in the space you are in is the most important thing. While we're on that topic, I want to hear from my subscribers. What interior design styles are you mixing together in your home? Be sure to share with me in a comment down below. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.